Thomas. After rising from the dead, Jesus went to meet his disciples. One of the disciples, Thomas, was not there. Although the door was locked, yet Jesus came and stood among them. "Peace be with you," he said to them, and showed them the marks on his hand and on his side. The disciples were delighted to see the Lord again. Afterwards, they told Thomas about Jesus' visit, but he did not believe it to be true. He wanted to see the holes and touch Jesus himself before believing that Jesus had risen. A week later, Jesus appeared to the disciples again, and this time Thomas was there. The door was locked as before. Suddenly, Jesus was there among them. "Touch the holes in my hand," said Jesus, as he showed Thomas the nail holes. "Now stop doubting and believe," said Jesus. "You are my Lord and God," said Thomas. To Emmaus. Two of Jesus' disciples were going from Jerusalem to a village called Emmaus. As they talked about the terrible things of the past few days, Jesus himself joined them. But the man did not recognize him. Jesus asked, "Why are you so sad?" They replied, "Jesus of Nazareth has been put to death. Haven't you heard?" Jesus responded, "Didn't they say that the Messiah should suffer and then be glorified?" Then he explained to them what the prophets had foretold. As they reached Emmaus, the two disciples invited Jesus to supper. When they sat down to eat, Jesus took the bread, blessed it, and gave it to them. And at that moment, the disciples recognized him. But the same moment, Jesus disappeared. The two disciples returned to Jerusalem to tell the other disciples this wonderful news. Peter is forgiven. One night, several disciples went fishing, but by dawn they had not caught even a single fish. Suddenly, Jesus called out, "Have you got anything?" They did not recognize him and replied, "No." He said, "Throw the net again and you will catch some fish." They did so, and the net was full of fish. "It is the Lord," said John. Peter swam to meet Jesus. He had cooked fish for the disciples. After they had eaten, Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" Peter answered, "Lord, you know I do." "Feed my flocks," said Jesus. Then again he asked, "Do you love me?" Peter replied, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." Jesus said, "Look after my flock." Then Jesus asked the third time, "Do you love me?" Peter got upset and replied, "Lord, you know everything." Jesus said to him, "Feed my flock." Suddenly, Peter understood, and the shame of his earlier denial of Jesus was forgiven. Jesus is taken to heaven. Jesus remained with his disciples for 40 days. He taught his disciples many things and told them that he would visit again. He said, "Soon you will be baptized with the Holy Spirit and receive the power of God. You will tell my story to the people in Jerusalem and to people all over the earth." Then he raised his hands to bless them. While they were still looking at him, he was lifted up, and a cloud took him out of their sight. While they were staring as Jesus went up, two men clothed in white stood beside them. They said to the disciples, "Why do you look like that? Jesus has been taken to heaven. One day he will return in the same way as you have seen him go." The disciples were very happy. They praised God and went back to Jerusalem.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.